Okay, so look at because I was trying to look and see like if I move it. I don't get it. I don't know why. Like, and if I clean the thing, but how do you still see me when I'm cleaning it? Oh, okay, you don't know. See, I'm a scientist. Is and so the hair, my science experiment that I didn't even know I was on. It's just so funny because it just like all happened naturally to me. Like I didn't do it trying to get this to happen. So, anyways, and I've learned so much having this happen because just where people thought they grew gray hair in, you don't. Your hair is actually it's like you have hair that's colored. It keeps reminding me back of high school, like, and I think my hair was lighter. And it's always hard to tell on these things. And everywhere you go, like if you go outside, it looks a different color. If you go in the bathroom, it looks a different color. Everywhere you go, depending on the lighting. But but it's like the richness is the thing that gets me. There's like a density to the color. And so what I started thinking is, so when we're in school and we whatever with our diet, like maybe we have like a certain amount of years of minerals that are in us when we're born, and then we just keep depleting them, just like they say that old people, one of the problems is because they don't have stem cells. Well, I'm sure that there's things that we can do to do all this stuff. They just don't want to tell us. So we have a certain amount, then we start being depleted, and then we don't know. I mean, there's like cover stories, I swear. Like, and it isn't that we're all talking about it or lining up together and noticing or something. It's like we have to stop, notice, and see, and then talk about it. So I think that we have a certain amount and we start getting depleted and we just keep going because we don't know. And so it starts draining the energy, and not the energy, the nutrition, just like any kind of plant or something, it'll start pulling. So it starts pulling nutrition from our hair. And so it's pulling these nutrients from our hair, and our hair starts getting more drier, more brittle. People start losing their hair. People start coloring because it starts changing colors. Wouldn't that be trippy if it went all the way back to my childhood color? That'd be wild. Because I was like one of those towhead kids. I think it's going to stay like around, because so many people are born blonde. And then it all gets to like fades or deepens. The color deepens. And then it deepens into a more rich color. And then you start becoming depleted in your hair. But so many people color their hair. And so, they don't even know, because then they're coloring their hair. So anything their hair does, they just think, well, it's because they color their hair. And they don't realize it is their body is telling them something. And then, a lot of men, their hair starts falling out or whatever. Just like we're not looking at it in the direction that we should be looking at, it seems like to me. And so then at some point, then our hair starts to lose all the color and starts going into, so it moves past just dull and not shiny and, falling out and stuff. Then it moves into just sucking the color right out of it and leaving it like a ghost. It's like that's what is on people's head. They walk around like, oh, I look good. Because it's trippy. I am so tripped out by that desire to look good over being healthy. So they're all walking around, but it's like ghost hair. Your hair is dead. It's like I said, dead man walking. It's like all your nutrition is sucked out of you. You're on the clock, dude. You're on the clock. I better better watch your move. Like anything could happen. But so, but now I'm seeing that the hair, like as it's going back, it goes back into color. It's not like you lose the gray hairs and brown ones grow in. It's the hair is shifting colors, like a stoplight telling us what to do. Our hair is telling us. Our hair is talking to us, messaging us. And we just obliviously, oh, I'm going to go color my hair. I don't like what it's doing. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to cut it off. I'm going to shave. I'm just going to, cut it. Then I'm going to glue somebody else's hair to it. Maybe not even real hair. Maybe just plastic. I don't know. There's like, I don't know. There's just so much. And 100%, they know that you are damaging your hair. And that, I think, is why in some like these Middle Eastern countries and stuff, there's like so much more respect, like cover your hair. Like that is a, it's, and so many people like, are so much more respectful about covering their bodies. I cannot believe how many girls will go do a fucking video. They're supposed to be talking about something that is like, give me your attention. I've got something serious to say. But I'm going to do it in a small sports bra and low-cut pants so you can, really focus on what I'm talking about. It's like, what is wrong? I just don't get it. Oh my God, I just don't get it. Anyways, as part of our society, this damaging our hair is part of, it's like a part of, I don't know if it's in all these different cultures. I know that I've seen some of these, I don't know if these people are influencers or what the fuck they are. You just see their video and they're going to go get their hair done, and they have to go to Indonesia and meet up with Jean Paul, and he's going to do her hair for an $8,000 due, and she'll sit there and get it all done in one day. And it's like, who fucking cares, weirdo? I'm like, you serious? People, to me, who are bragging about this, like how much money they can spend on something, it's like, do you have awareness? Oh my God. It's not the right time. Like, bring it in. It's like, oh my gosh. And, but that is what is social media, like on TikTok. I don't know about the other ones, but oh my God. It is so... It's like so telling right now. Everybody is just like showing themselves so much. And so many more people are getting it, what's going on. That's for sure. A lot more people are starting to really get like, oh, this is an awakening to consciousness. This is evolution. This is a change. But then you still have these people, just hold on, and don't think... yeah, that's it. They don't think. They're just on autopilot. They're just set. They're running a program. They don't have to think. That's the hard, I think, part with people when they start awakening, why they start feeling crazy, is because then you have to start thinking. You can't just run a program. You have to think like, what am I doing? Why did I just do that? Why did I say it? Why am I, you just start seeing yourself. And it can be uncomfortable, especially if you are really feeding into negative energy and you're running programs. Because then you're going to see a dark side of yourself. But just remember, every time you see a dark side of yourself, a side of yourself you don't like, it's there being shown to you so you can do something about it. It's like you don't want to keep dragging it life to life to life to life. You want to get rid of it, whatever it is. That's why it's being shown to you. And you know what? I had seen... this clip, and it was like Peaky Blinders or Binders. It's a show on Netflix, and I think it's been a lot of seasons. But I don't know. Maybe it's over. I'm not sure. But anyways, this clip was this, and I don't even know what he is. Like, I'm not sure what the show's about. But in this clip, he's sitting here with some other woman where they seem kind of like moral police or something. And they're talking to this nun who, and I don't know if he's like heard something, he's bringing in money, like he was going to give him money. And the nun starts doing her spiel and stuff, but they already know that they're abusing these kids. And there's so much, like, fuck, man. I just saw another place being opened that they said was tunneled, and a whole bunch were being taken out. They were obviously in another country because they did have those things on covering their hair, and they had like a certain garb on that, is more of a certain other country. Like you don't see people just walk around like the whole tunnels open up and there's all these kids coming out dressed like that. So it's definitely, and it could be over at the Strip or something. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know everybody's clothing details of all their different countries and stuff. So anyways, the people, what was I going to say? Because the people, oh yeah, okay, so the Peaky Blinders thing, and he is talking to her and starts telling her, that they know they're abusing kids and stuff. And when I was watching it, it's like really disturbing, like knowing what those Catholic or those nuns did back in the day, and which is all the religion things, but then you still have this is currently going on still. And so you have people playing those lives, obviously. But I was thinking, how many people, because you know how you're always, if you go in and you look up like stuff about reincarnation, you'll start seeing that you play, it's like you got to play both roles. And it may not be exact role, but it is the same kind of energy. You have to play the other side so that you can see. But there's lots of ways things can play out. So just because it's like one way in one life doesn't mean it's just going to flip the opposite. It can just scatter and play all different parts. That's why it's like life is like a giant trunk, and you open it up, it's full of costumes. You just pull one out. I'm playing this one. That's why you got to get more in your mind. Have fun with the character. Have fun with what you're doing. Quit trying to hide from this one and create some other avatar online. Work on this one. And, and like to me, it's like envisioning. Like I envision myself with my implants out and stuff. See yourself how you want to be. If you want to be thinner, see yourself thinner. If you want to have your hair longer, see your hair with your hair longer. If you want to, be more curvy, see yourself more curvy. Envision yourself of how you want. And it will start happening. Things will start, you keep seeing yourself the way you want, and your body will direct you to get there. So, and maybe it will be like you want your hair to be longer, and it's not going to be magic. Believe me, I wish it was. I sit there, come on, let me just wake up without these implants. Let's do this. We know we can do it. It's like, oh, I wish it was that easy. It will be once you get in the med beds, but I think a part of this training is so that you can be more efficient in the med beds, so that you are working on these abilities, so that you can, because it does have a lot about your self-image, about how you see yourself. If you don't see yourself in a good self-image, so you hold yourself back. That's their timelines. And the timelines are there for you to learn to see yourself in a good self-image. But when I was seeing the nun, right, I was thinking how many people here right now, especially probably ones that think they're all like better than other people or something, but those are those nuns that, and then, but, it could very well, probably more than likely, the nuns that were like that are different people, that when they come back, they're playing the ones that are getting taken and stuff like that. So then they get to see the terror they cause, the abuse they cause. They get to feel what that feels like. So it's more like that kind of thing. Like if you were abusive, then you come back and you will be in a situation where you're going to be abused. And And it's not as a punishment, because everybody's so much on this devil and God and punish and heaven and hell and all that stuff. It's not about punishment, because you are caught up in your concept of what you are through the image of the vessel. But really, when you are looking at life through the image of yourself as just a light being, as just energy, you don't have the same impact. You don't look at things the same way. You just have emotions to filter through. And that's why it's a keen part of it to attach to your higher self, so that you can pull back and reach into observation, so you don't feel so consumed by the emotional bandwidth, emotional burden from the experience, because the emotions and stuff aren't real. That is your accumulation of your experiences, what it creates your emotional outlook, like how you look at things. But that's why it's such an important part to get to that part of feeling good about yourself, where you like yourself. You know, those to me are like key things. Is like learning to like yourself. Like that's a big part of the journey. Learning to love yourself, standing your own, not needing to lean on anybody. Because anybody you're leaning on, it's an artificial. You got to stand firm in who you are and love yourself. And that's a journey. That's a path to enlightenment. That's a path to yourself. That's the spiritual path of life. Learning to love yourself, and learning through the journey all the different lessons that come on your path. And they all go together. It all goes together. It all is to lead you somewhere. And so the more that you, stay like tapped into that part of yourself, a spiritual part to me, that is the part of like, what are you doing here? What's your purpose in life? Why are you here? Only don't get overwhelmed by it, but to really think like logically, what do I do? And you'll hear it inside yourself. Yourself will tell you what you're doing here. You just got to ask yourself. And if you have confusing messages, it's probably due to dark energy. And that is stuff that you got to let go of. That's stuff that is burdening you, that's holding you back, that has a stranglehold on you from some past, past pain. So anyways, is like, that is a big part to me, is the road to sovereignty, the road to self, and loving yourself. And because there's like another part that seems like because to me, it all has to do with this healing and letting go of stuff. And so that is important. And I still see these spiritual people, they're like, they think the earth is just going to heal you. Like the earth is doing all this stuff and you just sit back and keep your vibration high. Don't think about anything that bothers you. Don't deal with people that bother you. And what trips me out, I swear to God, and I don't know, it trips me out, is, hold on a second, let me get a drink. Is that, I just saw this girl, and she's all like always dolled up, and she has this long pink hair, which, I don't know if it's, it could be a wig. I don't fucking know. These people all just whatever. But what gets me is when they come in and they're going to share, Almighty Source, God Himself has spoken, and never tells them to stop coloring your hair and take care of yourself. Like, just certainly skipping all the messages to help you, to tell you this other stuff, instead of helping you to get to your healthy part, to get to your, it's like, that is really weirds me out. And there's so many of these spiritual people who, and everything is like this girl, she's just like, Okay, so she went to her tarot thing, then she went to her Reiki healing, then she went and she met with her women's group of spiritual sisterhood or whatever it is. And they, it's just like, I don't know. It's like, there's just like a lot of stuff. And I was like, why? You don't need, I don't know. You don't need anything. You don't need, you need to take care of yourself. But so going, you gotta go to this thing, go to that thing, and not, like, it seems like a part, like my guides definitely focused me on my health. Like, but, I can't say always from the beginning, because part of my journey was all of the medicine and saving myself. I relied on Western medicine for a long time. Once they told me I had a problem, then I thought they were the solution. And it took me a long time to be able to see that they weren't. And I never, I like I said, when I say never, there's always something that pops in, because I did do my hair red for a while, which really trips me out, is because in that video, I think I shared too, and she's talking about when you do your hair red and how it has to do with heart chakra, or something has to do with what you're going through about money or something. And I was with that last husband that it was just like, he was endless. Like, I had never seen anything like it. Like, everything, when you're going through something and you're not learning your lessons, they get more dramatic, more dramatic, more dramatic. And so by the time I was with him, and he was like insatiable, like he constantly needed something big to be bought, constantly needed a new car, it's like, what in the world? And he did divulge to me at one time that he would easily, he got somebody with a lot of money. When he got together with me, he thought he was getting that kind of situation. He got himself a nurse, and that was not the only person. That was the other person I was with before him was the same way. And they thought, oh, good, score, got myself a nurse. She makes a lot of money. I'll just live off her. And so and then once I lost my license and all that stuff, then, I went on disability, and it was a fight. Like, I had to fight for my life, and it was hard. It was so hard sometimes. And there was parts of that were good about, like, the universe brings you in what you need. And, there's good and there's bad, because there was good parts. Like, he had already gone through this because he was epileptic, and he had had too many seizures on the job, and he was a union, I don't know what an iron worker. So he was a union iron worker. So he made a shit ton of money. He had he was set with all of his stuff. And then he had too many seizures on the job. So he had to go through this whole battle with the union. It was like this whole thing. And I caught him on the tail end of that battle that he was going through. And so when I didn't really know, because, when you start dating people, you don't really go out and tell them all of your business. And so I don't even know. I mean, I was pretty open all the time saying I had a brain injury, because I always felt really insecure. I felt like people were all like, oh my God, what's wrong with her? What's wrong with her? That made me really insecure, because I was, especially in the beginning, it would be really hard for me to process things. So I would be much slower. Now I'm just in my own little world. Now it's like, whatever, talk about whatever you want. I'm over here talking to the people you don't see. But when I had it happen to me, there was a lot of parts where he was supportive, because he knew, because he had already gone through it. But then he still had his heart's desire, was to be with a woman who was going to be there with a lot of money and take care of him. And he was still looking for that. He wasn't with me because he loved me or something. He loved the idea of me. But that's what I had always in all those relationships. That is something, taught me a lot. I saw a lot about that. I saw about like why people go and get in relationships. And then plus, that, people, like a lot of these guys, they would like how I looked and they wanted me for that, but they did not like my personality because I'm weird. I'm different than other people. I have a different way of looking at things. I don't mind standing out. And so, it was like a part of me that was always like something was wrong or something. But see, I don't just sit there and take that all in because I have my guides and stuff that walk me through things and talk me through things. And so I will get a different perspective. I'll see things differently. And so I know, through my relationships that what I was learning was to learn to love myself because I was trying, it seems like I would, some guy would come rushing in, oh, I just love you, and I'd be like, oh, I want to be loved. And then go with them and think like, that there was this love, from the stars or something. They'd come in for me. And then it would go into problem after problem after problem. And like I would, ask the universe, like, what in the hell is, and like they can't tell you things ahead. It's like you have to learn them. And so, and there's always lessons. Like I can go into all those relationships and see lessons and things I was learning through the whole thing. But it took all those together to get me to the last part because I would try something different. Like that's a part of my personality. Well, if this isn't working, I'll try something different. And so, and I wasn't seeing that I had my own patterns of damage, that I had my own problems. So I wasn't seeing that part. So I just kept thinking, because at the time, it was like the programming, the script was like, if you came from an abusive house, like if you were sexually abused, you would be an abuser. They told us that. And if you were, if your dad was alcoholic, you're just going to marry alcoholics. You're just stuck. That's it. You just forget about it. If you, your mom's abusive, you're stuck being bored. Like they just would lock you in to these personality defects that came from your trauma. And so there was a pattern where I definitely thought like, oh my God, I just picked the same guy over and over. That's right. I guess so. Your dad's alcoholic. Here you are just picking your mom or your dad over and over until all of a sudden you realize, oh my gosh, I picked my mom. Like what? How, what? And then you start like noticing like certain things. You start seeing like these relationships that we come into are to heal these other relationships. These, they're opportunities to heal, but you have to look at yourself. If you're like I was always thinking it was the other person, it certainly couldn't be me. I mean, I was reading self-help books. I was trying, I was trying to be spiritual. I was like doing all this stuff. It couldn't be me. I couldn't be the problem. And then, but thank God I read that gaslighting book, and that gaslighting book just really just like turned the lights on to me, where I was like, oh my gosh, you can't play. They can't play their role without me playing my role. A narcissist has to have, two narcissists can't do it. Narcissist has to have the other role. There has to be the pull and the push. There has to be the AC and the DC in every pattern. There has to be the two opponents. And so it's trippy too, because we're moving into this more harmonious time. So it won't have this friction. It's like, but this friction was there to teach us, to show us. So these relationships that would come into our lives, they were there to help us to grow. But, we weren't approaching it in a healthy way, a healthy demeanor, a healthy manner. We were programmed into, ignoring those things, everything that they tried to get us to live, everything in our lifestyle was not healthy or productive for us. So everything was counterproductive. to us being healthy. I mean, just think about just the extremes they've gone to. Well, not just telling us we're spinning out of space, but the extremes they've gone to keep us out of our cycles, you know, because that is a part of our cycle with the earth, is the, you know, going to sleep and awake cycle. But just because the earth has certain seasons, why would that age us? How do we know what our seasons are? You know, we're basing it because they're telling us, oh, well, here, your birthday came back around. We went back past there, so that means you're an age. It's like, well, I don't think so. I don't think so. Not in a supernatural world. Maybe in your weirdo world, but we're breaking free. That weirdo world doesn't exist. That's one you came up with. So but when I got to the part where you know, my last relationship fell apart, and don't forget, he had to push me out. He's the one who had, because when I left to go make that movie in Texas, and I said we should count this as a separation, and he was like desperate, no, and then crying, calling me every day, wanted to talk to me all night when I get home and stuff. And then as soon as I got back, he's like, well, we're breaking up. He already had it planned out exactly how we were going to do it and everything. I was like, oh, this didn't just come to your mind. You've been thinking about this. Why didn't you say it a little sooner? Like, especially, but that's the power of rejection works, you know. You can tell the relationship's not good for you. You want out. But as soon as the other person rejects you, then it's like a slap. It's like, boom. I was like, fuck, man. Rejections is a slam dunk on, you know, it's a real swift kick to the ego. And it is, you know, makes you feel like shit. And so, you know, when he told me he was leaving me. And he was all done. And he was drunk the whole motherfucking time since I got home. You know, he's supposed to stop drinking and all this stuff. He's just drunk all the fucking time. And I was like, oh, man, I keep doing this. But thank God he was like stronger than me. He was like, we're not doing this anymore. We're done. And he was like, fuck, that was it. Like, we never talked. Both of us were like, well, I've got nothing to say to you for, like, we're cutting ties here. And we did. We cut ties. And, you know, and to me, that's when I really had to go through my really deep healing, though. That is where it really shook me out of my patterns, where I had to really see, like, oh my gosh, you know, was going with these toxic people and stuff. But I was playing a part. I was something I was desperately trying to seek. I was desperately trying to seek someone to love me and care about me and take care of me. And every time someone was attracted to me, then I would think, oh, well, they must care about me. But I had a lot of lessons to learn in there. How was I going to learn them if I didn't go and live them and experience them? So don't be mad at your lessons. Just start looking at them as what they are. And so then I got to the part where, you know, you start learning to love yourself. You know, part of it, like, was the seeing my own pattern, my own part, that I played a part in this duality, in this problem. I was just as much a problem to that person as they were to me, because both of us we were both trying to get something from somebody instead of giving it to ourselves. We hadn't gotten to that part. But, you know, that is the development stage of learning and growing for humans. There's different parts. You got to go through the parts. You can't just jump ahead. You have to see the necessity. You have to see why you need it. You know, you can't just trust everybody to love you just because they, you know, look your way or something. But that is something that, you know, I had to learn, especially being trusting and stuff, not knowing, you know, like, I didn't pick people just over looks, you know, so I didn't understand what other people, but look at mine, though. I picked people because I thought that they would be something for me, you know, back then, you know, girls that came from abusive houses, we got like a bad reputation, you know, like we had daddy issues. We're all looking for a daddy. We were all looking for someone to take care of us. And in a sense, there was, you know, we had never had anybody protect us or take care of us. And so it was out there in the world looking for somebody who would fill that role, not even understanding that you need to fill it for yourself. I thought, you know, it was just the way that they programmed us, you know. And they're always conflicting the programming, because then they'll bumper it right up with like, oh, Disney princesses ruined all these girls. They made them think that there's hope in the world. Maybe there's a prince out there who's going to love them. It's like but to me now, I see it as more energetic. Like I see it more as like I was in the part where I was learning my lessons. And you know, when your lessons have to do with other lives, they have to do with other things that you've gone through. It's like it's always more chapters to your lesson. And then once you learn it, and like on this one, what it seems as about love, which we're going into this time that's about love. So it makes sense that all these people who have had these things that they've been healing about love, you know, how they feel about love, it can have to do with parents, it can have to do with kids, it can have to do with spouses, it can have to do with all different things. We're all learning how to love ourselves and how to, well, part of it is accepting love, but also understanding what love is, because we've all been kind of distorted. We've had a distortion in love, because love is freely giving. It's just loving somebody. And if you love somebody, then there's an honesty, you know, there's a compassion, there's other things, you know. We just, what we thought what love was not. We had to learn how to love ourselves. And so that's the strongest love that you find. That's why I keep talking about all this stuff is about it, so you can learn to love yourself. So when you go through all your stuff and you start healing it and letting go, and then you start seeing like you're loving yourself, you're taking good care of yourself. And that's why I say some of these girls, they're out there just like, well, I go to this and I go to that and I go to that, but what do you do to take care of yourself? Like your hair is bright pink, you got all this glue and these lashes all on there, all this other stuff caked on your face. So, and all of it is toxic. It's all toxins. I'm like, I don't even know what they're preaching, like about, like what they're trying. I mean, to me, it also is like this other spiritual that are kind of lost, you know, they just grasped onto a trend, is, you know, like they, you know, I got to see what the tarot cards say. I got to see, you know, I got to go get my healing. And then I got to go get, I got to go do their candles. I got to go do their crystals. They've got, I don't know, it's like this pursuit of, like they're trying to find something. Like, well, I haven't found it this week, so I'm going to schedule ayahuasca this weekend. You know, it's like, but it's right there. You're running around trying to do too much. You're not connecting. And I think that maybe you're not connecting to your true self, because it's going to tell you to drop the image. Drop the image. Let go of the pink hair. Like, if you want to get out there and start, you know, getting people to follow you over spirituality and stuff, like, I would think you need to go a little more natural, like not be so fake. And another thing too that drives me so crazy with the people with the tarot, like tarot pops up to me all the time. I've watched, you know, I mean, even at the beginning of my awakening, you know, I was doing tarot and stuff. So there's, I'm not talking bad on the tarot. I'm talking about the people who watch it. It's like they become dependent on it. Like the tarot is telling them. It's like, that is not what the tarot is for. The tarot is a communication tool. It's to communicate to you what you're being told in your head. When you are being told stuff in your head and you're living it and you're doing it, and then they come in and tell you. But there's people who just think like these cards are pulled, so then that's their life. It's like, that is not, and you don't need to go to the tarot all the time to ask, what do I do today? What do I do today? You're becoming, that is kind of a spiritual psychosis. It's like, I have these tarot like one after another. Some days it is just, I'll go off TikTok because it's just one after another. And it's the same message over and over and over. And I've been getting the same message for a long time, And I'll talk more about all that once we go past it. Once I go over, and the message is behind me and I'm in that place. But anyways, to get into that place, it takes work. And all these people that they think like you don't do shit, you just sit back and the universe will do the work for you. It's like, that is not how it works. The universe is changing. It's raising its vibration. You've got to keep up. These people are just like sitting back. Oh yeah, it was a hard day. I had to sit there and I was dizzy all day. And from all these Schumann things, and right now, like, they're really, really big on this. Like, I have so many videos over the Pluto moving into Jupiter or Earth or whatever it is. I don't know. It's a big transit or something, a big thing happening in the stars. It's supposed to be creating all this change. But one of the things it's supposed to do is make you see yourself. So it goes along with that, the time of mirrors and the time of change, like what I kept saying, everybody's going to have like this mirror in front of them. All you're going to be able to do is see yourself. You're not going to be able to see around yourself to see what somebody else is doing. All it's going to keep being in your face is like what you've done, what you said, how you acted. It's going to be overwhelming to some people, especially to people who distract themselves by judging. And we can see a lot of that going on. There's just a lot of people who, wear red and just sit and talk about blue people are stupid, and the people who wear blue just sit and talk about the people who wear red are stupid. So, all of that, where their judgment on other people, then they're only going to be able to see themselves. There's not going to be able to be room to push out and judge on somebody else. That, to me, is this time the Mayans talk about that. But I think that is the time that we're in. And then there's all these people that just keep being like, oh, the solar flash is going to happen. And after that, everybody's going to feel good. Everybody's going to be in the age of Aquarius. And it's like, guys, this is not just it is not just happening for you. That is like, it's not just happening. I mean, it's happening for you, but you have to do some work. You have to look at yourself. You have to raise your vibration. You have to heal stuff. You can't just sit there and think like it's all just changing. You just forget about stuff. Let go. You got to let go of stuff, but you got to acknowledge it to let go of it. You can't just have it go, back in the crevices of your mind and think that you've let go of it. You're still carrying it. You're still carrying some kind of anger or pain or something that is associated with it. So you got to let go of that. You got to relive it for a minute and let go of it so that you can, that's how you raise your vibration. in the universe is giving you all of this time, but the people in their arrogance, and then these people who claim to be so spiritually awake, and they're just like, they're lost. Even when that girl was sitting there talking, and she was saying, she sounded such a desperation to me when I was listening to her. But she's got so much pressure from the God Almighty that she needs to start being authentic and talking and telling things and not just making it all about sugar-coated all the time. So, I didn't listen to all of her stuff because to me, I just have a hard time listening. Like, you're going to go out and tell everybody else how to live. But look at your hair. Oh, I can't get over it. All these different girls with these just like pink hair, blue hair. And to keep those colors, you have to put so much chemicals. So if you're sitting there trying to say you're so connected to the universe, you're so connected to yourself, mind, body, spirit, but then you are abusing yourself, poisoning yourself, ignoring the fact you're being poisoned, And, I mean, it's like they're still in their challenge of being real. Like they're far from that part yet. But at least, she's feeling that pressure that she feels like she needs to start being real. But being real, like, is stripping off all of the pink hair and all that stuff. Is getting down to loving you, who you are. And then it's going back to who you were in the beginning, who you thought wasn't acceptable. Then it's like pulling them out of the closet after you've like piled up all of the skeletons and all of the stuff, and you've got them way back at the back. You got to go through all of the challenges, empty the closet, and then you find that, your little inner self way back at the back of the room, waiting to be acknowledged. You pull them out and, sorry, I forgot about you. I thought I had to please these other people. I felt so much pressure to make other people happy that I forgot to make myself happy. And then you get into the part of beginning to love yourself and making yourself happy, not worrying. Like, big fucking deal if you want to skip down the street. What if you want to play tic-tac-toe? What if you want to get back to your fun self? Like, get out a bunch of weird stuff in the kitchen and make whatever the fuck you want. All the stuff you used to get in trouble for when you were a kid. Do what you want now. It's fun. It's fun to just do what you want. Be who you want to be. And, but, there's all this standardized pressure because, it's not by accident. It's not just like one girl. I mean, you got like a whole group of girls that just go and shake their ass on fucking social media. Just like, that's the kind of stuff that used to be, that video out there like that. People were traumatized. They leave their towns. They leave their schools because somebody was going to see them like that. Now people just put that shit out all day long. It's like, we lower ourselves. It's time to raise the bar, And, but when you get to that other part where you learn to love yourself, then those lessons where the people are coming in to teach you to love yourself, those lessons are no longer necessary. So you don't have the pages of realities or whatever. So if it's like what the CIA says, and it's just all these like pages and pages and pages, and they bleed through and stuff. But if you are on the part where you love yourself, you don't need those lessons anymore. You learned it. So you learn to love yourself. Then it's different. Then you start pulling in this different energy because the lessons are different. So, the energy of to me, it's like, it always seems like it's like your match. It's an energetic match. It's a vibrational match. And so you have somebody who matches you, meets your vibration or something. And then, somehow you cross paths, like in however it works, we'll see how it all works out, like how it all plays out. I don't know, because, they cross your path and then you see them and then somehow you cross their path. But I don't know if it all, I don't know. We'll just see how it all plays out. This is like a learning thing to me too. I just know there's a big difference. And, I've been single and doing this since 2017, well, the end of 2017. It was like going into 2018. But yeah, I've been single, focusing on myself. And, well, you say like focusing on yourself, but you still have this, it's like this energetic match I don't know how it works, but somehow they come into your reality. Like they start coming into your dreams, they come into your reality. And so then there is a part of like looking at them and seeing like, man, I gotta step it up. Like, fuck. I gotta step it up. Like, there was a lot of stepping it up. So it wasn't, it's kind of like, man, it happens also. Like, that's why those people come in. Because it is your trigger. It is your signal. It is your part. So you see. And we all see differently. So it's hard to explain what somebody sees. But it was like, definitely to me, where it felt like, I needed to step up, some different things about myself. Like, I don't know, put myself out there or something, be real. Like, the whole thing is like a journey to yourself. And, but it's like, when you have like your match, your like energetic match, show you, and it's like, oh, ugh. Like, I don't know, because there is like a part where it's not like you're trying to do something to please them, but like it's a part of what your journey is. Like, I don't think that would make sense unless you'd gone through it. And I don't know how many people are going through that. I've heard like there's tons and tons of people. Like, this is a big switching things around, going into this new phase, because it is going to be different about love. And it is people who've been working on themselves. And so that is going to be that next step, where we aren't needy and trying to get something from relationships that aren't there for relationship. Now we're raising the bar on relationships. And so there's lots of people, this is like a part of it. And that is a part of, it's going to move us into these new relationships, this new way of, that is why so many relationships are falling apart too. So many are falling apart because there's something new coming. So many people base their relationships on toxic things and toxic sides of themselves. They're not being their truth. They're not being their true selves. They're just being dependent or codependent. And these are all things that we're trying to break free from, is break free from any kind of dependency on your value being on somebody else. You have to learn how to give yourself the value that you require, and know what you need, know how to take care of yourself, know the things that, you need separate from the other person. So anyways, oh, for a minute, I thought it popped up that it's been talking 2 hours. I was like, 2 hours? Jesus Christ, Evan isn't really... But, okay, so 52 minutes. So let me think for a minute, because there was some other stuff. There's so much stuff with the sky stuff. Oh, yesterday, my grandkids, or my 2 young granddaughters called me. And so I got to see both the little boys, too, because they both came onto the videos. Oh, my God, they're so cute. They're so cute. Like, that is one thing as a grandma. Like, I do wish I could be over. If I wasn't on this side of the mountain, but every day there's like pileups on all these passes and stuff. And our house is total frozen out there. I couldn't go anywhere yesterday. It doesn't look like it's going to be, like, it says like it's 40 something or whatever, and it should be melting, but it's like this drip still goes out, starts barking, because there's like just dripping. But it's like, man, yesterday it was kind of spooky too, because the branches on the trees were getting so heavy. And if you've seen the stuff that went on in Portland, it was like, fuck. And I was in an ice storm before in Spokane. And in Spokane, it was like trees just bust in half, huge branches fall. So when it starts doing that, it's like, ugh. And we're still, like, I don't know when they're going to say these storms are over. Like, fuck, man. And I just feel so certain that this is a part of the awakening. Because when you hear what the people say, when you hear people's reactions and stuff, then it's like, oh, this is awakening and stuff. Like, this is to get people to wake up, because this is so extreme. It's so ridiculous. But my granddaughters called me yesterday, and they did like a It was like 3 of us on FaceTime. It was so cute. So we're just sitting there talking and talking and chatting. And they wanted to talk to me about Miami and the creatures of the Miami Mall. It's like they know who to call. Call grandma about this stuff. So that was really fun. It was just was one part too, because they were going to go hang out with each other. Like they were going to go spend the night last night. But so they had to wait though through the day because school's been canceled all week, all over in Washington. This is so bad. And so they had to, she had to sit there all day to go over to the other one's house. And so she was, because the other one had to go to the dentist. And so so they were sitting there, and they're just like, they start watching, like, first they start like, oh, I'm hungry. I'm going to go get a toaster strudel. So they both go get a toaster strudel at their own houses. They both had toaster strudel. So they're having this whole discussion about toaster strudel. I was like, this is so fun to get to be a part of this. And so they have this whole discussion about the toaster strudel. So then they're, talking about it and cooking their toaster strudel. Then they're getting in, they're talking to other people at their houses and stuff. Then they go sit down and they put on their shows. They both put on their shows. And they start just sitting there, just watching their shows. But they were just sitting there together. I'm just sitting there watching them watch their shows. So I'm like, so is this what y'all do? Y'all just sit and watch shows together? And she goes, well, sometimes we watch the same show and talk about it. But sometimes we just watch whatever we want. She's watching this and I'm watching this. And, but they'll still talk about it or whatever. I was like, this is so funny. And so, and then my daughter came in. So both of my daughters had come in and I got to talk to them for a sec. Well, the one daughter, I didn't really talk to her. She's still, I don't know. She's still, I don't know. Let me know, like, if your boundaries are that you think you should be able to say whatever you want. Well, I'm not. That's against my boundaries. So we're still at that crossroads. My boundary is I feel like I should be heard. I should be able to be myself, say whatever's on my mind, say, be real. And the other part is like, no, you got to be hyper vigilant as to not say anything to offend me or talk about anything I don't like or stresses me out. Or it's like, fuck, that's a lot. And I usually don't know I'm saying something that's stressing me out until after the fact when I'm hearing about how I'm going against your boundaries. So anyways, like I've said, this whole boundary thing, don't think like it's going to go just perfectly smooth. Like there's bumps along the way. There's, we're in the process of learning and, but all of us have stuff to learn, and I know I have to still be true to myself. It was like all the time to be talking to somebody and then having be like, that's against my boundaries. Like, and it's like, I'm just talking about what I think. It's like, that's like too much for me. I can't, no. So, I have to be true to myself. I have to be able to just be able to be free and talk and say what I want. And, I'm not trying to say things that are mean or hurt people's feelings, but I still need to be able to be honest. And I do look at things very different. And I am sure 100% now through this awakening, I'm sure that it was hard on my kids. They're talking about things and I'm always pointing out this weird stuff because I've had so many flashes back of, about how much I've been misunderstood through, my whole life. All the way back to my mom. My mom still, she doesn't understand me at all. And so many people who are really religious, they don't understand people when you say that you don't believe in religion. They just don't even understand. Like, that there's a God outside of religion. Like, if you believe in God, you have to believe in religion. It's like, no, religion is not God. That's not the same thing. And, but it takes everybody's own, they have to get there themselves. And so, to my mom, I'm not godly. I'm anti-God because I'm not Christian. I'm not religious. So I'm just believing some weird thing out there, like not even sure. But I'm like, they think like, I'm in my own little ego mind or something. I've created my own God. I'm out there worshiping my own God, judging everybody else, thinking I'm better than everybody else. Like, I don't know. Maybe so. Fuck, I don't know. How can I say for sure? Like, it's all by the, it's whatever you believe. Whatever you believe is the truth. So, and I believe, that there's books written and stuff about the stuff that I think. Like, I'm not the only one who's sitting there saying it. I'm not the only one who thinks it. There's a lot of people who, look at things the same way I do. So, to me, I can't force anybody. But I think in the awakening, that's the thing that's just so wild, is you go through your whole life trying to get people to see, that you're not some crazy devil worshiper or something. And all of a sudden, the whole world switches. It's like, oh, see, you guys, I told you. And all of a sudden, it's like where you were being thought to be so crazy, and then it switches, and all of a sudden, it's like, oh my gosh, like, that is, that's a sweet deal on the eye-opening thing. To even get to live that perspective of it, to be able to go through your whole life being called crazy and weird and all that stuff, and then for the universe to say, hold up, wait a minute, I'm gonna show you. And then it's like, oh, see, but I'm not somebody who wants to go, I told ya, see, you stupid ass. I'm not like that. I was like, no, I don't even want that energy. I don't want to be mean to somebody and make them feel bad. I don't want to kick somebody while they're down. I want everybody to build up. I want everybody to feel good. I want everybody to be happy. That's why I talk about this stuff, because I feel like it's the road to happiness. It's the road to completion. It's the road to feeling good. Start recognizing what life is all about. Start taking your lessons not as punishment, but as gifts of learning and growing, so you can get back to your true self. So you can get to a place of being comfortable, not needing other people to rely on for your emotional needs, being able to rely on yourself, being able to find in yourself how to feel good. So anyways, that's my thoughts on it. And but the Texas down at the border, that's heating up. So I don't know if that's going to be what's going to play out. Like, are they literally going to start fucking fighting down there? Because I swear to God, there's patriots who are heading down there now. They're ready for this fight. It's like, this is going to get, like, that's going to be a battle. Like, if that's how this is going to play out, like, look, who knows? This is going to be a battle. Then the grid's going to go down, and people are going to be scared and screaming and crying. This is whatever's going to go. It's going to be dramatic. There's going to be screaming and crying. There's going to be fear. There's going to be so much fear. But that is the purging out of fear. That's where people have got to just let it all out. They've got to bring all their fear to the surface so that they can, rationalize, so they can start seeing. And then the beautiful part will be like, they'll bring it all to the surface, and then it'll turn the other direction. And then all of a sudden it'll be like, what? Like, I thought this was about to happen. That's what's going to blow so many of these, government lovers around. They're going to fucking, because they're all so set on what's going to happen. And it's going to flip. It's going to flip. It's like, yeah, it looks like we're going this one thing, but then the coin's going to flip the other way, and we're completely the other. And that is what's going to blow people away, to make them stop and be like, wait a minute. There's going to be so much confusion. And there's going to, that's going to go with anger and all of it, because it's going to be, that whole process that people have to go through. So we still have that to, and that's about to be starting. And I don't know. I mean, this whole thing with Joe and the border, but we got all this stuff on the table, all of his crimes and stuff. It just keeps building and building, and more people being arrested all the time for these crimes. More things coming about jailers, about judges, about all of it. It's just going to keep coming and coming and coming. In all these different cities and states, it's just going to keep being on the news. Man, I'm telling you, Oklahoma, man, it is like got a lot of stuff going on. But so like Mississippi, like all these different places, Ohio, Illinois, like there's so much going on in all these different places. It's like right now, it's like if we had the making, popcorn, and you sit there, you got all your little things on the bottom, and they're all heating up in the oil and stuff. It's like right now, it's like they're all popping It's popping, popping, popping. And this weekend, I would imagine, that there's going to be some drama that's going to go on. And maybe this will finally motherfucking be our time that the banks won't reopen. We'll finally be there. And I cannot even believe, you say something about that and people are like, oh my God, that's so negative. You got to wish good on the banks. We need the money. We need that and all that stuff. It's like, you guys, go fucking do some research. Where it all came from, where the banks came from, where the money thing, where, here, we're going to give you money. It's like fucking loan shark shit. It's like it's corrupt. It's all corrupt. Go all the way back, how it started. These Rothschilds, these Rockefeller, like getting us trapped. And it was all done on purpose. And so, fuck that. People lived way better without being indebted. Get us to be indebted, and then they're turning it too. They're going to turn it back to debtors' prisons and all that. They were going to take it as far back as they could. It's as far back as the people allow. But luckily, we're in this time of transition where people are like, put on the brakes. No, nobody wants to be abused anymore. Nobody wants to be underappreciated. Nobody wants to be running around doing shit for everybody else and everybody taking advantage of them. You see these videos all day long. Everyone is sick and tired of being abused and not getting anything from their relationships, feeling disconnected, feeling burdened, feeling like they can't get ahead. Everybody's sick of it. It's like the brakes are coming on. That's the energetic, swift movement. That's why everything's going to flip the other direction, because that's what we truly want. We want something different. And the people who don't, it's just because that they're so scared. They're so fearful. They're holding on to something. They're holding on to the past so hard. And they can't imagine that there can be better. But you just got to go back into history, into understanding. And there's other ways of living. There's other lifestyles, like right here presently on the planet. There's people living all different lifestyles. You don't have to have a big house with multiple cars and multiple garages and multiple toys and a TV in every room and all that stuff. All that stuff is not going to make you feel happy. There's more stuff to keep up with. It's the simpler. And that's the thing, like where these girls with their pink hair are trying to tell you, how to live simply and get true to yourself, where it's always a disconnect. It's like, yeah, it's about living simply. It's about going into just being your truth, being yourself, being real, getting back to who you really are and being comfortable with that. It's a whole journey. But anyways, all those people, like, the mermaid hair people, they're all going to have that part of themselves to face that, they're going to have to take off those masks, take off that pink hair, get comfortable in their own skin, take off those lashes and just get comfortable in their own skin, because that is your truth to loving yourself. When you keep on doing those other things, you keep saying something's wrong with you, something's not right with you, you got to change something. And then, well, if you got to try and change something, then what are you changing it for? Who are you changing it for? So everything is to just go in to try and understand yourself. But that's what everything is about. Everything that is happening right now is all about that. It's all about getting us to question who we are, what we are, why we're doing the things we do, what we're doing. And it isn't to punish us. It's to help us grow. Because this is an important time of growth. This is an important time of evolution. And the laziness of these people who sit back and think that the world is going to just do it for them. All they have to do is write out these energetic things. It's like, no, the energetic things come in to help you process. So you got to process through what you're going through, what you're thinking about. And supposedly this Pluto thing is really going to get people to have to think deeper. You're going to have to, it's going to really make you have to look at yourself. So if you get into those places where you're really, you're just like, fuck, you just can't get, you're just like constantly seeing yourself, and you're just like, oh, you're so mad at yourself, you're so sick of yourself. All that is to help you learn to accept yourself, to love yourself, to let it go. Let it go. Don't be hard on yourself, because being hard on yourself makes you bitter and angry and hard on other people. That's where we don't have a pleasant world. And I'm telling you, The energy, it's all about the energy. You get your energy up to where the planet is going, and it's going into harmony, love, acceptance. This bitterness, judgmental, division, and all that. The people, if that's really what their energy is, they won't be going forward. That's just, if that was what their energy is and they're just here to teach us and show us things, that energy will not be going forward, because that's not the energy of where we're going. We're going to a place of peace and harmony, love and respect, and independence. It's like, it's all the good things. All the good things. Like if you've ever been around somebody and you just like looked up to them and you're like, oh my gosh, they've just, they just got it all going on. They're so confident. They're so happy. We're all going towards that goal. Get there. Because then we have a world full of that. We have a world full of people who love themselves. So where's the bitterness? Where's the hate? Where's the, I'm going to try and screw you over because I had a bad day. No. And then plus getting into that point of understanding, when you screw somebody else over, it hurts you. The energy will always come back on you. So, is this all this time of transition? But believe you me, if there's people that you are following and they're just telling you, sit back, like this moon is doing it for you and stuff, that's not true. That is like these same people who are sitting back with all this stuff going on in the world and thinking Jesus is going to just ride in on his white horse and save the planet. It's like, no, that's not how this works. Everything is being shown to you so you can see yourself, because nobody else can get inside of you and see what you can see. It's so you can see yourself. So yeah, you're going to feel shame and guilt and stuff like that, but you don't really have to, because nobody else really knows. It's your independent view of yourself. So you can be as hard on yourself as you want to be. That's, those are your lessons. Everything is about lessons. Everything is about learning and growing. And it's like filling in the blanks. Filling in, who you are, what you're doing, why you're here. And it's like coloring yourself in, as you go through the process. But you can't, like, how can you color yourself in for your truth, your authenticity? If you're wearing a wig, you have on makeup, you got it on you're just always in costume, always putting on a persona, a character. It's like you have to put the characters down. You have to put down their personas. You got to put down all the fake masks and, walk in your truth. It's like walking in bare naked and just being like, this is who I am. This is who I am. And not feeling, not worrying about what other people think. It's not your problem. What other people think is their problem. But we all carry it around like it's our problem. Like we've got to make the changes. No, that's on the person thinking it. The more that you can let go of, the more you can keep your mind right, the better you can feel. And to not be burdened by being exposed, by being truth, by being your real self. Not feeling like that there's something wrong with you. Getting to the point of just liking yourself for every broken bit of yourself. And, that I think is the challenge that we're going through. But I think that it's work. Like you actually have to spend time in reflection. To me, you have to spend a lot of time, like I fucking do. Breathing stuff is helpful. Stretching, like everybody should be doing stretching and stuff. Like, yoga is important, or any kind of stretching. And that is another thing, the same thing with the hair turning, where people don't realize, like, your muscles and all, like, start tightening, and you start getting more tight and rigid. And going into yoga and stuff and doing into the stretches and the breathing and the connection to yourself, the connection to your own body, and going and stretching it out and stuff, that it keeps your muscles, it keeps you more limber, it keeps you more active, it keeps you more healthy, it keeps you able to move around more. So there are all those different things about like breathing and stretching and reflection and what is that called? Like affirmations, like telling yourself, keeping positive affirmations, telling yourself, and always like visualizing like what you want, visualizing positive things. Like when bad things or scary things come into your mind, you just go, like, no, I'm not giving that my energy. I'm not going to focus on that. If you focus on that kind of energy, you'll bring that kind of stuff into you. So you want to just like push the negative thoughts away, but you can still acknowledge them. You can still see them, but you don't want to just give them energy and time. So, okay, let me think if there was something else, because it seems like that there was something. Oh yeah, because of sky stuff, because there's so much more. Man, there's some wild sky stuff, and there's more things like that. It to me, it seems like that the the other beings were like, okay, time's up. Now we're going to be seen. Oh, and somebody else was showing, like, if you look through a telescope, like they could see the Pleiades, and there's some kind of alignment happening, which I don't know. It really trips me out, because I got a telescope. Like when I had decided I wanted to start looking out there, and but now knowing that it's not like out in space, and then plus, where do you see past the firmament? Well, and then it is out, like, but it's also realms, and everything is realms and realities and dimensions, and it's just so different. So I don't know, but it's interesting. There's so much stuff going on in the sky, but that is all a part of the awakening too. Everything happening is to wake people up. Everything is crazy, and then there's such crazy stuff happening in in people's homes with supernatural stuff, and you got like creatures walking through people's yards. All sorts of stuff is happening. It's all, happening to wake people up, to get people prepared for what's next. So anyways, I would say, to work on yourself. And everything is showing us. The signs are there. This is a time of change. This is an ending and a beginning. And all the stuff that's ending, we want it to end. I don't know why anyone would want to hold on to some of that stuff, other than the fact that they just don't trust that things can be better, and that they are so reliant. Like they haven't looked through and seen evidence, and so that they just think like that's the better way or the only way. Once you go see the evidence and stuff, it's like you want to run the other way. So anyways, but it's all in this time of change, and so this is your opportunity, and nobody has to know all of your truth inside of you, but you do have to learn through the truth of how to accept yourself, how to love yourself, how to forgive yourself. And, and that learning how to forgive yourself will help you learn how to forgive people who have hurt you. So, but it's a lot of challenges. There's a lot of challenges. Like you can talk about it, make it seem like it's just so simple, but no, it's difficult. And it's going to take weeks and months and pain and pressure to let go of some of this stuff. But it's important. It's important to let go of it, even if you aren't going to go forward to the age of Aquarius. Even if you are going out of the game and going back home, you're here to heal. You're here to heal past lives. You're here to let go of things. You're always in a state of growth and learning and evolution as a soul, as a cell. So, that is what you are all about. So anyways, but everybody here, they just get confused, and then they think this is real, and then it just is so, it's like different rules in this game. But that is also where the rules are changing. Like there's so much coming out about like the lies and stuff. Like these people are in so much trouble. Like they're all in so much trouble. Like on those executive orders, the crimes that they've committed, these ones that are against humanity and kids and stuff like that, that they are all have the same outcome. You get to choose. You don't have to take this squad, There's other ways to do it. I think the squad thing is the fastest or something, except for my past life where I have that memory of that. And I got a whole bunch of shots in me. And I don't even know if it probably was more of like some war crimes or something. I don't know. One thing is that you got to realize, like, all you got to do is look back at history, look back at the past, and know, like, any place that you were there, you probably had some hard shit happen. Like, we've gone through a lot of hard things. Like, think about all the hard lives that people in the past have lived. Well, those lives came from us. We were the livers of those lives. So we've gone through those traumas. They aren't just things on movies. They're things that are inside of you, holding your soul. And this is a time to heal them and let them go, to connect to yourself, to see yourself, and to understand yourself. Because it's all about this growth, this renewal, this refuel, change. And everything is micro, macro. Everything that's coming to the surface. So, anyways, now I definitely talk long enough. Now let me think if there was anything else that I was going to say. So, I don't know what the day, none of us know what any day holds. Like, they can start blowing shit up. They can start, anything can happen. And it's all for the show. Just remember that. This is a big drama show. But they've been showing, that they're really into this drama. Like, they're having fun with it. So, no telling what will go on today. Because to me, like, the banks, the Federal Reserve, the IRS, like, it's all been bankrupt for a long time. Like, my daughter, yesterday, they're sitting there doing their taxes. Is it going to do me any good to say? No, because I'm sure that they want to hurry and get some money back. So they're hoping to get some money back, and they may, as I don't know. Or it could be white hats that are sitting there, making sure that people get money because they know people need money. And when you're putting it out there, but so many people just go on and put these videos just, begging for someone to save them. And it's just like, I just know that the energy is like, we all have to learn how to save ourselves. We all have to learn how to be independent. And if there's something we think we need, then we need to rethink if we really need it. Just like on my house. Like, I've rethought it. Like, if, March is coming in quick. If they're going to really auction it out, then it's just like, well, it's a new start for me somewhere. Maybe I'll just go to my mom's for a while, fix her little shed out back, get some little camper and fix it up, and then start going. There's positives. I'll be able on the other side of the mountain, be able to go see my grandkids or whatever. And then still, at some point, this energetic match will say, hey, I remember you. Let's talk. But, I don't know when that's going to happen. So, I don't know. Maybe it's going to happen 10 years from now. I don't know. You got to keep going. You got to keep going in your life and taking care of you and doing what you need to do. You can't get hung up on what other people are doing and what their problem is. You got to stay focused on you and what you need and what you need to do. So, anyways, that's where we're stopping for the day. So, we'll be back tomorrow as long as there's the powers that be, as long as we have power. And I'll come back and talk about whatever. But there's just a lot going on. And there's a lot energetically, but with this Pluto thing, that does go with the mirrors. Like, I would say, you're going to be seeing things that are going to be parts of yourself that or could be overwhelming or something. But just remember, you're being shown the things for you to heal, not to punish you. But it's your road to be able to learn acceptance, to accept yourself. And because once you accept yourself, you're going to be able to accept others. So it's your road, it's your journey. Just, start looking at it wider, bigger, look at things, bigger perspective. So anyways, I'll leave you with it, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Talk to you later. Bye.